I'm okay with the fact it's been a somewhat quiet summer. Right?
As long as you guys aren't jinxing us, I'm a little nervous about talking about this.
We're winding down the months and weeks when we can have severe weather.
That's right. So that's in our favor.
Yes.
So that's good. Yeah.
But let's recap our summer because meteorological summer ends tomorrow on August 31st. June started off with a very warm month. It was a top 10 warmest June region-wide with departures between 5 and 7 degrees above normal. July featured below normal temperatures region-wide. And now for the month of August, we've been right around normal, give or take a half a degree or so. So when you look at precipitation, it's very variable across the region. So Williston and Bismarck, we had 9 inches of rain in the whole June through August months, meteorological summer in the capital city. These are at the airports, by the way, so your mileage may vary depending on your exact location. Williston at about 6.5 inches of rain. But that's the most precipitation in Bismarck and at the Williston airport since 2019 because the 2020, 2021, and 2022 summers were all very dry. But look at Minot. We only had 3.8 inches of rain this summer in the Magic City. That's the least summer precipitation since 1967 when there was 1.73 inches observed in Minot. Nothing notable about the Dickinson or Jamestown amounts, but that really allowed for the drought to expand across north central North Dakota. This is the percent of normal precipitation across meteorological summer. And you can really see across the north and east where precipitation was below normal compared to across the southwest and south central where precipitation was above normal over the past 3 months. So as I mentioned, when we started meteorological summer on June 1st, about 21% of North Dakota was abnormally dry. No drought classifications in the state compared to now. With that lack of precipitation across the north, we now have 31% in the moderate drought and 15% of North Dakota in the severe drought classification. And that really sticks out like a sore thumb here on the overall statistics for summer 2023, with Minot 4.5 inches below normal with precipitation, whereas Bismarck, Dickinson, and Williston right around normal for precipitation amounts from June 1st through this point in the year. Average temperatures throughout meteorological summer running about a half a degree to 1.5 degrees above normal when you average it out throughout the past 3 months. The big statistic that caught my eye, though, over our year, and specifically in meteorological summer when severe weather is at its peak, is that we haven't had many severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings this year, and therefore reports of severe weather. The National Weather Service in Bismarck, which issues warnings across western and central North Dakota, has only issued 118 severe thunderstorm warnings and 4 tornado warnings this year. So that's 122 combined warnings, when normally each year we see 252 warnings. So that's less than half of normal and the least amount of combined severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings in 30 years since 1993. So that's pretty notable. Here's a graph of those combined severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings going back to 1985 all the way to now. And you can see the peaks and valleys. You can see how the warnings have kind of increased over time. And in 1995, that was when Doppler radar was introduced, and that allowed us to see inside of storms, see the rotation, and allowed us to use that technology to better warn storms. So that in turn led to more warnings, not like we're trying to overwarn storms, but we could just better detect those tornadoes and strong wind gusts. There's also, when you look at this data, a really notable peak here between 2005 and 2011. In the severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings. And there's not a real good answer as to why that happened. It's just kind of how the jet stream was configured in those years. There was fairly wet periods that could have contributed to some more storms in that time. But 2011 was a particularly notable year for severe weather and tornadoes region across the central and eastern part of the United States. There was a couple of super outbreaks of tornadoes that year. And even here in North Dakota in 2011, we had a lot of tornadoes. But the 2012 drought really squashed any severe storms from forming in that year, or at least below normal amounts by that point. This year, though, we've had a couple of notable events. Sioux County On June 21st, we had a 125 mile per hour high wind event from a severe thunderstorm that produced widespread damage at a couple of residences. And then in Beulah Bay and Hazen Bay on August 1st, 95 mile per hour estimated winds also produced pretty extensive damage to a few communities. And then just recently on August 24th, just a few really weak and short-lived funnel clouds. So it's been a fairly quiet year overall. This is a map of severe thunderstorm watches that have been issued across the country this year. And you can see the blue shading is fairly light here in North Dakota, meaning that there's only been a handful of severe thunderstorm watches this year. Compared to just south of us in the Black Hills, there's been a lot of severe weather there, and especially down across where we typically see a lot of severe weather. And tornado watches, there's been none of them in the First Warn viewing area this year. One of them has been issued for portions of the Red River Valley, but we've been lacking in that severe weather department for sure. What's the culprit behind it? Well, we can go up to the jet stream level. That really dictates how our weather moves across the country, and it's been pushed to the south of us this year. That's kept a lot of the heat to the south and a lot of this instability, the wind shear, the ingredients that you need for severe weather to the south of North Dakota. Going down into the mid-levels of the atmosphere, this is how we can see kind of a position of the jet stream over time. A normal summer is kind of like that. This summer, though, you can really see how there's been a dip to the east of us. And that has led to cooler and stormier weather in the eastern seaboard, whereas we've had a lot of heat in the desert southwest, the southern plains, and calmer weather on this little bulge in the jet stream. And the reason behind that is because with these troughs or dips in the jet stream, you get inclement and severe weather on the east side of those dips. So we were kind of on the other side in a ridge pattern, which usually favors a little bit more fair weather across a longer time period. So the severe weather setup that you normally need here, you have the jet stream dipping kind of to our west, enough instability, enough warm, moist air, and enough wind shear for those severe storms to develop. Now looking ahead to meteorological fall, September, October, November, slightly above normal temperatures could be favored, especially for the month of September, but overall looking at near normal precipitation amounts.
An El Nino winter.
That is also
implying,
looming.
yes,
that implies
it
warmer.
might be a little milder.
Yes.
So maybe not like last winter, which would be okay by many.
I've got
Right?
my fingers crossed. Thanks, Jacob.
All right, thank you.
Good look back.